All right, guys. So to this point, we're over a week into the Denver Broncos training camp, and I want to give you my overall thoughts on everything that's been going on. So today's practice, A.T. Perry remained out. Same thing with Drew Sanders. Alex Singleton, with that thumb injury, did return to practice. Trey Greenlaw and Key Robinson still are not participating, but the Broncos are getting pretty close to being fully healthy, and the starters will play against the 49ers on Saturday after a joint practice on Thursday, which is what head coach Sean Payton indicated. So I'm excited about that. Will Lutz continues to be incredible in camp. He made a 61-yarder last Friday and a 62-yarder today. Probably would have been good from 70. Pretty crazy to think about. Will Lutz, of course, was with Sean Payton and the Saints, comes over to the Broncos, and he's hit a lot of big kicks for this team. Riley Maus continues to stand out. He's without question going to be starting across from Patrick Surtain, which is no surprise. And then, of course, in the nickel, Jahdae Barron is going to be there. Pat Bryant, of course, we took him in the draft. He was a third-round pick. He caught a 70-yard touchdown from Jarrett Stidham, which is super interesting. He's had a good camp. Nick Benito nearly had another pick six. This guy's just been all over the place, just like last season. Evan Ingram, who came over in free agency from the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's had a massive training camp, making play after play. Such a high IQ player. When he's fully healthy, he's one of the best players in this league. I mean, you talk about a big time addition to Denver. Last season, they had arguably the worst tight end group, or at least the least productive. And then they go get a player of his caliber, man. It's just awesome to see. Bo Nix did throw two interceptions, but if anybody's going to learn from it, it's Bo Nix. He doesn't turn the ball over very frequently, and Sean Payton is coaching him up on it. Said he's doing fine. Of course, charting picks like they're hurricanes. That's what Payton said to the media. One of them was picked off by linebacker Justin Stroud, which is interesting, and then the other was Devon Key. But Nix bounced back as well. If you could throw a couple of picks, I mean, not ever going to be a good thing, but if you can bounce back from it and continue to have a good rest of the day, then at least it's something to be encouraged about. The Broncos will practice tomorrow on Tuesday, and then they're going to travel to San Francisco on Wednesday. Of course, the Niners, they do play in Santa Clara, but you get the point. And Sean Payton said something interesting to the media. He said that he's coached six teams that he thought could win the Super Bowl, and he put the Broncos as the seventh. Now, last season, Denver had no chance to win the Super Bowl. I think we can all agree in that. Playoffs, yes, which they did, but they weren't a Super Bowl level team. This year, though, they absolutely are, and that's what Payton said. And he highlighted Bo Nix. Now, of course, Nix is the quarterback. He's going to get all of the praise, but the defense was already elite, and it goes out there and it sort of fills out the middle of the defense, of course, by bringing in Talanoa Hufanga, by, of course, bringing in Drake Greenlaw. Jahdae Barron playing in the nickel. That's going to be able to shore up an already very good defense. It goes from good to great now all of a sudden to maybe even the best. But yeah, Peyton did say himself that Bo Nix is a huge reason why he doesn't turn the ball over. I'm paraphrasing here. He can throw it on different funny body angles. 67 air yard against Cincinnati. That was the longest ball. Exceptional arm strength. Now, Bo Nix, he's just a prototypical 2025 quarterback. Does everything you want. He's a leader. He's a winner. And he shrugged off a little bit of a slow start to his career. And then by week 5 after that, it was just to the, what's the saying go? It's to the race, to the races, something like that. I forget it exactly. But yeah, after that, I mean, Bo Nix was just fully dialed in. And Denver's defense was playing so well. And they just continue to win and win and win. And eventually they were looking at 10 wins, and they beat out the Bengals. They beat out, of course, like the Colts and this and that for that final wild card spot. And it's pretty interesting to see. They completely overachieved. Nobody really had the Broncos as a 10-win playoff team. And now the expectation is to win the division. Now, Sean Payton did say that the short-term goal of this team is to win the division, which I think we all want that. But the eyes shouldn't be on the division. They should be on winning the Super Bowl. I think Denver is that good. And they went out there and they ended up locking up Zach Allen for the long term. I remember watching him in Arizona. He's a large reason why I started making Bronco videos. He came over to Denver and he's just so underrated. Like, I get that numbers wise, yeah, he's got the stats. I mean, people know who Zach Allen is, of course, because he led all NFL defensive linemen at snaps last season. He led defensive players and quarterback hits, but I don't think he gets enough credit. I mean, second team All Pro. But just in terms of making an impact, I mean, he can line up anywhere on the field. He's just so good. And you pair him with John Franklin Myers and Malcolm Roach and Nick Benito and Jonathan Cooper. That duo right there became one of the best edge groups in all of football. And not to mention the reinforcements that Denver brought in through the draft and free agency. I just can't wait to see this defense go out there. And I just remember watching the Broncos Colts game. I know it's kind of like a random matchup, but like I've never seen an offense struggle. I've watched a lot of Colts games too, just because I like Anthony Richardson, Shane Steichen, things like that. And wow, I mean, it's just so hard to push the ball down the field against this Broncos team. And the fact that they got even better, like significantly better, like Jahdae Barron might end up winning, defensive rookie of the year. Like, who really knows? Like, he's got that type of ability. And then you go and you get two very good tacklers in uh, Greenlaw, of course, and Hufanga. It's going to be pretty cool. I can't wait to see that. Other notes as well. I will say that the Broncos in the last 12 months they've gotten Cortland Sutton locked up. Of course, they've gotten Quinn Miners locked up, Garrett Bowles, Patrick Surtain. I mean, all of their top guys they've gotten paid, and now their eyes are going to be set on Benito, Franklin Myers, and Roach. Those are going to be the next three guys. Probably would expect one of the three in the next like month, maybe even less, to get that, because Broncos, they're right there. They feel like their window is just opening, and they want to take full advantage because it's not just about being good for a year or two. They want to be good for the next decade plus. And with Bo Nix and this defense, they set themselves up to do exactly that. And the key as well has been putting pieces around them. Of course, on the opposite side of the ball, like getting Sutton, of course, locked up. But Troy Franklin's had a good camp. Pat Bryant's had a good camp. Marvin Mims Jr. broke out at the end of last season. Devon Beasley, they like him a lot. A lot of good players, and also a lot of guys who like nobody would really know unless you're like a diehard Broncos fan on this team, which is pretty interesting too. Like Joe Quinn Davis is another guy who is made some plays, right? He's like at the back end of the depth chart for that receiver position. And then Evan Ingram, who we talked about, just with his size and speed and just knowing where the soft spots are in the zone, which is pretty awesome. The running back room, to me, is going to make or break this season, at least on the offensive side of the ball, is what do you get out of these guys? Like RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins, is that going to be enough? Last season, the Broncos, they struggled to run the ball. It's as simple as that. They put a lot of pressure on Bo Nix to be able to execute and be able to make plays and at times to be sort of a superhero. And he was able to do it. But in the long run, you have to be able to run the ball because, like, you look at the game against the Bills, for example, the Bills ran the ball, the Broncos didn't. And I get the Broncos were down, so of course they have to throw. But a large reason why they fell behind was just because they couldn't get a consistent run game going. And it's just so important to be able to run the ball in football. Man, everyone talks about Mahomes and Josh Allen and these guys, but you have to be able to run the ball whenever you want and whenever you feel like it, and then sort of build off that with the play action, especially if a team knows you're going to run. Let's say it's third and short, fourth and short. Can you put the ball on the ground? The Broncos just weren't able to do that, despite having a really, really good run blocking offensive line. It was top 10 statistically. I know some Broncos fans disagree, but PFF is technically an opinion. They're pretty qualified over there. And they had the Broncos, I think, as the ninth best run offense. And then pass blocking was first. And again, this offensive line's been together for years. And they're all good. So it kind of makes sense why that's the case. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you tomorrow after practice to go over what happened. Smash the like button, subscribe. I'm Daily Broncos.